Hello everyone. I'm back and it's still very cold in Johasel. It's very cold. What a cold winter is what we say every year, right? Mother's Day in South Africa. Today is Sunday and I read John 8. John 8 is the scripture for the day. It's about a woman who was made a spectacle by the teachers of the law and the Pharisees, people who think they are right, people who think they are the standard. John 8, the story. Let me read it to you. Then they all went home, but Jesus went to the Mount of Olives. At dawn, he appeared again in the temple courts, where all the people were gathered round him, and he sat down to teach them. The teachers of the law and the Pharisees brought a woman caught in adultery. Teacher, this woman was caught in the acts of adultery. In the law, Moses commanded us to stone such women. Now what do you say? So they were using this question as a trap in order to have basis for accusing him. Where's the man in the story? Because adultery, doesn't that take two people? Where is the man? Why is the woman brought to the front? But Jesus bent down and started to write on the ground with his finger. When they kept on questioning him, he straightened up and he said to them, "Let any of you who is without sin be the first to throw a stone at her." Again he stooped down and he wrote on the ground. At this, those who heard began to go away at one at a time, the oldest ones first, until only Jesus was left. So he straightened up and asked her, "Woman, where are they now? Has no one condemned you?" "No one, sir," she said. "Then neither do I condemn you." Jesus declared, Go now and leave your life of sin." So what a transformational moment at the end of that scripture. Leave your life of sin. In other words, live differently, essentially. How can we relate this story to today? I was thinking, we still get people today who place themselves above others like the Pharisees did in those times, who think they are the standard to follow. And they have a right to publicly question or humiliate someone without even thinking about whether they have their own faults that can be brought to light. And the reaction of Jesus is actually teaching us on how to react when people are trying to accuse you or publicly humiliate you. Because when he asked them, or when he instructed them that let those who have no sin be the first to stone her, he was essentially throwing the ball back in their court and asking them, who do you think you are? You know? What places you in that role where you can question this woman? So Jesus didn't even have to defend the woman. He did not even have to mention her. He did not even have to say, stop what you're doing to her. What you're doing is not right. Don't do this. He just said, but look at you. You know, who do you think you are? Are you without sin or not? And obviously they left eventually because they could not answer, because they knew they were not without sin. And in today's world, there's still people who tries to humiliate others in any which way, and who does not protect others. And love protects. Love protects. It does not expose, it covers. And when you deal with these type of people who wants to put up a performance, because what the Pharisees did was a performance. They caused a spectacle, and Jesus did not dignify their performance and spectacle with the response that they expected. In fact, he did not even change his posture to favor them. He just exposed their own moral ground that they were speaking from, and they had nothing that they could say back. So, on this beautiful Mother's Day, I'm just thinking about how many people are left unprotected and exposed and vulnerable because they're being publicly humiliated and attacked by people who are hungry for power, people who care nothing for them, people who want to put on a spectacle and claim a higher importance than someone else. So no one is without fault. No one is without fault. We all sin. We all have made mistakes. But it takes a very special type of people who positions themselves as above others and as the standard, like the Pharisees did in that time. I mean, excuse my choice of words, but they were extremely annoying and attention-seeking and problematic. Yeah. So the woman in the story was very vulnerable. She was very vulnerable. And when it comes to vulnerable women, Jesus had a heart for them. The woman at the well, there's so many examples of women that Jesus really and truly, he sought those women out and just to help them and uplift them and transform them, because he really loves those women who have no one in their corner. So if you know of a woman like that and you want to connect, just don't do what the rest does. Just don't prosecute, don't assume the moral high grounds. Be gentle with this woman, because vulnerable people need a lot of love and protection, and that is what Jesus came for. We must protect each other as women. We need to protect not only our bodies, but also we need to protect each other's reputation. You need to protect each other's reputation. And for me, it's so obvious when someone is not protecting your reputation, because I honestly don't know. I don't have the answers for why people choose not to be protective of others. I mean, you treat others how you want to be treated, but there's absolutely nothing wrong with protecting the reputation of someone who was seen as a vulnerable person in that room, like the woman who was the who was caught in adultery. And why was the man not there? Why was the woman brought to shame, but why was the man not there? What does that tell you about the setup of societal rules in that time, and possibly even today it might still be like that? So yeah, for me, John 8 is a testimony of the love of Jesus. Once again, he loves us so much, and he does not tolerate any sort of injustice. And Jesus sees you, and he can see who's trying to actively work against you. He can see who wants to attack you, who wants to humiliate you, and he just wants you to know that he does not condemn you. He wants you to leave whatever it is what you're doing and be transformed, but he does not condemn you. He loves you dearly, and he holds space for you, and he wants you to know your identity in him. Okay, once you get to know yourself through the eyes of Jesus, there is really and truly a remarkable difference in how you see yourself, and that in and of itself will change how you behave in the world, and people will be impacted by your presence. So yeah, that's my message. We are all sinners. We all make mistakes, and the moment you place yourself above anyone else to publicly humiliate them or publicly put them on the stage in order to make yourself look better, I don't know, then you're the architect in your own downfall, basically, because that's not what Jesus is about. I hope this message was helpful to one person only. Have a great week.